How's it going, everyone? My name is Anthony, aka ComicsRGreat, and welcome to the new comic book day haul video for the comics I bought back on Wednesday, August 18th. The comics you'll be viewing today will be in alphabetical order. I'll be presenting and giving you a brief opinion of them, starting with from DC Comics, Batman Secret Files, Clown Hunter #1, written by Ed Brisson. Interior art drawn by Rossi Camp, and the cover was drawn by Kofi Ofosu. This is a solo issue about a relatively new vigilante roaming the streets of Gotham named Clown Hunter, whose first appearance was from Batman Volume 3, number 96. Clown Hunter has a real hatred for clowns, especially clowns similar to Joker and Punchline. In this issue, Clown Hunter is following a particular clown named Soul, but comes to realize that it's a trap. Eventually, Clown Hunter is neck deep in clowns until he gets help from an unlikely source who also has his own issues with the Joker and offers to train him. I'm definitely looking forward to Clown Hunter's next appearance in a Bat title, and I hope it's real soon. From Marvel Comics, Defenders #1, written by Al Ewing, with cover and interior art drawn by Javier Rodriguez. Ewing and Rodriguez bring back one of the more eccentric teams of the Marvel Universe in a 5-issue miniseries. I've never really been interested in the Defenders teams because of the offbeat members they've had in the past, like Valkyrie, Moondragon, and Iceman, to name a few. Anyway, after a battle with the new Masked Raider, Doctor Strange enlists the help of the Silver Surfer, Betty Ross, and the Cloud, without getting their permission, of course. The group winds up going to the distant past, and they discover their mission has something to do with the great devourer known as Galactus. I picked up this issue through the advice of a good friend of mine, Instagram member Heroes Reborn. So, Heroes Reborn, it's your fault that I'll have to get the second issue when it comes out on Wednesday, September 8th. From Image Comics, Department of Truth #1, written by James Tynion IV, and cover and interior art drawn by Martin Simmons. This issue is the 6th print of the very first issue of Department of Truth that came out about 1 year ago. This was what the book was supposed to look like about a month ago when it was originally supposed to come out. However, due to a supposed printing error, the main cover and the 1:25 ratio cover was swapped. Despite the fact that there is probably little to no value in getting this cover, I decided to get this just the same, simply because I'm a completist and because it's the Department of Truth. From DC Comics, Future State Gotham #4, written by Dennis Culver, with interior work drawn by Nicholas Cismeja. Yeah, I know, I butchered that name. The cover was drawn by Simone DeMeo. With Future State Gotham, since last month I've been looking to buy the variant cover, which was done by fabulous up-and-comer Rose Besh. Normally the main covers are drawn by Simone DeMeo. However, this month both the main and variant covers were done by her. As you can see this month, Simone DeMeo made this month's main and variant covers as connecting covers. So far, her and Rose Besh's style is really popular with collectors, especially Rose Besh. I just hope DC doesn't do what Marvel did with Peach Momoko, which is to get her to sign an exclusive contract and force her to draw variant covers to nearly every series. I'm looking forward to getting both covers to issue 5, which is scheduled to come out on Tuesday, September 14th. From Image Comics, Geiger #5, written by Jeff Johns. The interior art was drawn by Gary Frank, and the cover art was drawn by Paul Peltier. So far to date, I've been getting 2 covers for each issue of Geiger. 2 weeks ago, I purchased the Beat cover, so I figured it was time to get the next variant cover. I really like most of the covers that have the character Geiger in his glowing form. I'm looking forward to getting the 6th issue, which will end the first arc on Wednesday, September 1st. From Image Comics, Home Number 5. Written by Julio Anta. Interior art was drawn by Anna Weischek. The cover art was drawn by Lisa Sturl. This is the last issue of the miniseries. The author wrote a letter saying that this story is mainly about ripping children out of the arms of parents that are immigrants. While that may be the intent, that's not what is coming across in my opinion. In any case, I thought that aside, it's a decent comic story that's open-ended. I hope the next one is better. I look forward to hopefully seeing a second series or a number 6 pretty soon. Because overall, I think it's worth picking up. From DC Comics, The Joker, number 6. Written by James Tynion IV. Cover and interior art was done by Gilliam March. This is the last issue of the first part of the overall arc. Even though this book is called Joker, I, along with a number of people, feel it should have been called Gordon. This has primarily been about Commissioner Gordon getting his revenge on the Joker for his many years of anguish and torture. I don't know if this story is supposed to be part of DC Comics' main continuity, but something tells me it's not. I won't be picking up any further issues of Joker after this one. From Marvel Comics, Kang the Conqueror, number 1. Written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. The interior art was done by Carlos Magno. The cover art was done by Scotty Young. This is issue 1 of a 5-part miniseries. In simplest terms, this miniseries is about Nathaniel Richards as a youngster meeting the various people that he will become prior to becoming Kang the Conqueror. Since I'm a Scotty Young fan, I decided to get his variant cover instead of the main one by Mike Del Mundo. I wasn't sure whether or not to get the series, but considering just how important this character will be in the MCU at this time, I figured, what could it hurt? Issue 2 is scheduled to come out on Wednesday, September 15th. From Dark Horse Comics, Lucky Devil number 1. Written by Cullen Bunn. With cover and interior art drawn by Fran Gallen. This is the first issue of a 4-issue miniseries. Stanley is a nice guy who is really down on his luck until he merges with a demon lord. After a day where the demon gets revenge on almost everyone who wronged Stanley, he goes back to sleep. But somehow, after an exorcism gone wrong, Stanley kept the powers. I'm looking forward to issue 2, which comes out on Wednesday, September 1st, just to see what Stanley begins to really do with these powers. From DC Comics Black Label, The Nice House on the Lake number 1. Written by James Tynion IV, with cover and interior art drawn by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. So far, this series is really good after part 3 of a 12-issue maxi series. This is the 3rd print cover of issue 1, however. It's a rather unique take on the original cover, where about 20 to 25% of the cover is burned off. This cover is the 2nd print of issue number 2. Similar to the 3rd print of issue 1, I would say about 10 to 15% of this cover is burned off. That's how hot this series is. Before it becomes too hot to handle, I'm looking forward to getting issue 4 on Tuesday, September 7th. From DC Comics, Nightwing number 83. Written by Tom Taylor. With cover and interior art drawn by Bruno Redondo. This is the end of the first arc in Taylor and Redondo's awesome run since it began with issue number 78. Last issue, Nightwing just discovered that he has a half-sister. Now he finds out that he's also a billionaire due to Alfred Pennyworth's generosity. Now the question is, what will he begin to do with all that wealth? And will he do a better job with it than Batman? Issue 84, which is scheduled to come out on Tuesday, September 21st, will be part of the Batman crossover event, Fear State. From Image Comics, Nocterra number 6. Written by Scott Snyder, with cover and interior art drawn by Tony S. Daniel. This is the last issue of the first arc of Nocterra. I admit I haven't read the first 5 issues. From what I heard is the beginning of a really good story. I'm not surprised because we are talking about Scott Snyder, who is currently still one of the premier writers out there, and Tony S. Daniel, who is still one of the best artists over the last 20 years. While the story did slow down for me around issues 4 and 5, but interest picked up again with the release of issue 6, probably due to the news of a TV deal being in the works. I'll be looking forward to issue 7 whenever Image plans on releasing it, which looks to be possibly the beginning of next year. From Image Comics, Radiant Black number 5, written by Kyle Higgins, with the interior art done by Eduardo Ferrigato and Marcelo Costa. The cover art was drawn by Gerardo Borges. This is actually the 3rd print of issue 5 to what has been a great series. This reprint cover originally looked like it was to a new character, but it's actually a different look to one of the current ones. Even though there are similarities to the Power Rangers, since Kyle Higgins is one of their writers, but there are some differences which still make it a great read. From Image Comics, Radiant Black number 6, written by Kyle Higgins and Cherish Chen. The cover and interior art for this issue was done by Darko Lafuente. This is a solo story focusing on Radiant Red, who you come to find out is not only female, but also a thief. I decided to pick this up when issue 7 came out because I had stopped getting Radiant Black around issue 4 or 5. I may place this title back on my pull list until the end of the 2nd arc. It all depends on how I feel the story will continue to flow from this point forward. This is Radiant Black, issue number 7. The interior art for this one was done by Marcelo Costa, and the cover art was done by Danielle Di Nucuolo. In this issue, the story actually picks up from the end of issue 5, where Radiant's black, red, pink, and yellow face off against what I guess is Radiant Alien, where he could duplicate every one of their powers. I call the guy Radiant Alien because I really don't know what he's called. I really like the fact that Radiant Yellow is an older guy, like around my age, and no, I'm not going to tell. After this issue, I'm definitely looking forward to issue number 8, which is scheduled to come out on Wednesday, September 22nd. From Scout Comics, Sam and His Talking Gun number 4, written by Drew Ferguson, with cover and interior art drawn by Lee Ferguson. To be honest, I didn't read any of the series because I knew that this was a short 4-issue run. I'm looking forward to checking out this ultra-violent series, which seems to be centered around the life of 2 assassins in both their adult life and when they're kids. From IDW Publishing, Star Wars The High Republic Adventures number 7, written by Daniel Jose Older, with the cover and interior art drawn by Harvey Tolibao. This is the 2nd part of the Mission to Bilbusa storyline. This part talks about the history of Farzala and what his master tries to impart to him about fear. Eventually, the Jedi has to retake their ship and then convince the Hutt clan that they're completely innocent. I'm looking forward to issue 8, which is supposed to come out on Wednesday, September 1st. From Image Comics, Time Before Time number 4, written by Declan Shalvey and Rory McConville. The interior art was drawn by Joe Palmer. The cover art was done by Declan Shalvey. I haven't read any of the issues since issue 1, so I'm going to read them when the first arc finishes with issue number 5. Joe Palmer's artwork is different, very different. So this series, in my opinion, leans heavily on the storyline, which from what I heard so far is really good. I'm hoping the arc closes out well next issue. The 5th issue is scheduled to come out on Wednesday, September 15. From DC Comics, Truth and Justice number 7. Written by Prateek Cheeber. Interior art done by Lalit Sharma, with cover art drawn by Young Gen Yoon. This issue, which is part of a miniseries, was a pure cover buy for me, plain and simple. I really didn't read any of it. I just like Young Gen Yoon's artwork and how it's similar to Stanley Archer Lau and Jae Hyung Lee. From Marvel Comics, Web of Spider-Man issue number 3. Written by Kevin Shinick, with interior art drawn by Alberto Albuquerque. The cover art was drawn by Geraldo Sandoval. I bought the main cover of this 3rd issue back on Wednesday, August 4th. With the first 2 issues, I bought both covers, so I decided to get the variant cover for issue 3 before the 4th issue came out. Like I mentioned in my August 4th video, this issue felt a bit on the slow side, but I'm hoping things speed up in issue 4, which is scheduled to come out on September 1st. From Black Mask Comics, White number 2. Written by Kwanzaa Osayefo. The interior art was done by Tim Smith III and Jamal Igle. The cover art was done by Carrie Randolph. My LCS, Royal Collectibles, was nice enough to give me one of the 2 copies they were allocated. This series is the continuation of the Black miniseries, which originally came out in 2016. When X decides to go against orders, he unknowingly allows the government to capture half the team. I'm definitely going to get the second print covers when they come out, which is supposed to be on Wednesday, September 1st. Also, I am so looking forward to issue number 3, which is scheduled to come out on Wednesday, September 15. From Marvel Comics, X-Men: The Trial of Magneto number 1. Written by Leah Williams. The interior art was done by Lucas Warnick. The cover art was done by Stanley Archer Lau. I was planning on getting this cover just because I originally thought it was a solo issue, but then I found out it's actually part of a 5-issue series. I love the covers that Archer has drawn ever since his run on Supergirl. The last X-Men event I got was the House and Powers of X. I'm still not sure as to whether or not I'll continue to get the rest of the series, but I hope to find out when issue 2 comes out on Wednesday, September 15. I do apologize if this video was a bit long, but I hope you liked the comics that I showed you today. If you enjoyed the content of this video, a thumbs up would be, well, in the words of Christopher Reeve Superman, swell. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you'll know when I post my videos on a more regular basis. I do thank you for visiting me today. So from my family to yours, remember, comics are great, and so are you.